Welcome to Your Time to Thrive with personal fitness coach Jason Stevenson.
Hi, friends. Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to the podcast. This is Your Time to Thrive. Today's special guest is one of my favorite people in the world. I've been very lucky to have been training her and know her for several years now. She's a testament to quality of life, staying focused on your health. And she's also a testament to just being an amazing spirited person. My good friend and client, Beth Algieri.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Beth.
Hi. We finally got through that.
Fun technology is quite an interesting process, isn't it?
Yes, it is, especially for first timers.
Well, you know, the frank truth is we have all as a society shifted pretty quickly. And I got to be honest with you, you do an amazing job with it.
Oh, thank you. I'm ready for rotary phones and go back that way so no one will bother me. Too much stimulation, but that's okay. I'm getting used to it. My children are getting me used to it.
I'll bet. And now you don't just have children, you have grandchildren and great-grandchildren that help you with it, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. And they're my go-to people.
Absolutely. Well, you're lucky. Do you communicate with any of them currently on Zoom or any kind of video chat stuff?
No Zoom, mainly FaceTime, that kind of thing. But it's easier for them just to text me out a message and me text back. It's like I gave up trying to visually or physically talk to them on the phone.
At that specific ages, right?
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's they're happy. I would rather see a face. They would rather see a face. So if you want to talk to me, come visit. Or if I want to talk to you, I will go to your house. Even now in this COVID thing, I have to stand outside and look at you through the window. It just means more than typed words.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. You know, that's pretty indicative of how I envision you. I don't know if you heard the lead in here that I gave you there, but you're a woman that I've always been impressed by. Your attitude about life in general is inspiring, but you're welcome. You've earned that, but you have focused on your own quality of life and your own health for quite a while.
Oh yeah. I didn't like the direction I was going in, which was down that slippery slope. So it upset me that I couldn't do the things I like to do. I didn't have instant recall, but it eventually got there. So I decided to do something about it, and that was eating better and getting my exercise in. And I've evolved from the person I used to be 50, 60 years ago through all life's ups and downs to where I am now. And I like the happier side of life. So I want to stay there.
I couldn't agree more with that either. And not just a positive perspective about it. Like, you know, well, oftentimes you and I will sign on in the mornings for our workouts, and you will list what you have accomplished already that day.
Yeah,
like
I can't wait for you. I mean, gotta get. If I wake up at 5:30 in the morning, I'm on the road or I'm doing something, and it's like getting built up for the day. And then you come on, and I'm feeling pretty good, and I'm ready to, do whatever it is you want me to do.
Well, which I appreciate. Your willingness to do whatever I ask you to has been amazing too. It's worked out for both of us, honestly, because
I'm like, okay, I like to be poster child for some of my friends that just would prefer to sit and talk. And I just sit and talk. Now, I don't even like watching a movie for 2 hours anymore. I got to get up.
So what do you mean by that as a poster child comparatively? They're not
to emulate me exactly, but get up, move. I don't care what circumstances are. If you're in a wheelchair, if you're in a walker, sit in a chair and start moving something. And you lose your range of motion when you don't move. So now when you want to bend over to pick something up, you might keep going. or you might not get back up again. So it has to be deliberate because you don't want to do something too fast and start jumping around like a 4-year-old. But you want to be able to function better. I think I do.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to have 2 or 3 things going on at the same time. I've got something in the oven, I got the TV playing or music playing, and I'm baking cookies or I'm doing something so that it's almost like a factory in my kitchen sometimes. But I have to have the background noise just to keep my mind from wandering off of what I'm trying to get done. But if you can get outside, go for a walk on the beach or in the park. You don't have to jog. I'm trying to get back into jogging again, and it's coming along okay because when I first started jogging, a long time ago, I lived on where there was a lot of telephone poles. So I would not run, but jog to one telephone pole and then walk to the next one. And as I got more comfortable with it, with my lungs and my energy, then I'd walk 2 and then I'd walk 3, and I'd have that break in between until finally, after about a year, I could jog 7 miles without taking a break. But it wasn't that pretty kind of jogging like you see on TV. It was labored. But at least I did it.
You were moving. 7 miles is not a short distance, Beth.
I don't know if I can do that now, but I'll see how far I can go. I'll challenge myself all the time.
Yeah, you say those numbers casually sometimes to me. How many steps do you average on a daily basis?
Anywhere from, on a lazy day, maybe 8,000 steps up to, I haven't done this in a while, 30,000 steps, because all you have to do is challenge me. And it's usually the younger people that challenge me. And then I get my mojo going and I'll show you. When you take your sneakers off, I'm going to put them on.
For those who are listening or watching this right now, what we're talking about is the pedometers and step challenges in MyFitnessPal. Oftentimes we're unaware of really how far we're going or what we're doing. Those pedometers and trackers are amazing tools, but I wholeheartedly agree with you, Beth. Getting involved with somebody else, having somebody else challenge you.
It helps a lot. It helps a lot. Like right now, when you and I work out, I have a little clock and I have to look, because I'm like, how much longer? But then go, oh my God, it's almost over. I've been talking the whole time too.
And moving the whole time, mind you. Yeah. And we're not doing wheelchair aerobics either.
But it's there for you. I mean, some people do have limitations, or even if it's not a physical limitation, it's a mental limitation. I can't do it. I'm not even going to try. So it's like, okay, but I say, try. What do you got to lose? Right. So if you want to get out of your chair a little more deliberately, instead of getting up in the middle of the night and launch yourself off the bed to get to the bathroom, it's like, no, get up slow. You'll get there eventually, because you can hurt yourself. I mean, I've come into the category at my age group of a fall risk. So I'm not going to jump off the ladder, or I'm not going to, do something that I think I might hurt myself if I do that. So I just do what I think I can do, and I challenge myself. And if I can't do it, then maybe I'll work on it, and then maybe I won't.
I have never presented anything in front of you that you have not attacked with a challenge attitude or been capable of doing.
Well, when you and I do things and you say, well, how'd that work out? And I go, it's doable, meaning it's challenging. It doesn't make me feel happy like I try it. And if it is doable, I'll keep doing it. And so you go from a 5-pound weight to an 8-pound weight to 10 to 15. Some things I can do with a 15-pound weight, and some things I can't. So I just do what I can.
One of my favorite stories I was telling my wife the other day was how I asked you about the 25-pound dumbbells.
Yes.
Where were the 25-pound dumbbells?
They were in the cellar. And you
how
said,
many?
well, go get them.
Yeah. How many flights of steps is that?
Well, it's about 12 or 13 steps going from the cellar to the main floor and then up to the bedroom. So you figure about 26, say 26 steps.
Good
Yeah.
2 flights of steps. So when I asked you about that and I suggested it because you were getting stronger at some of the movements, right?
Yeah.
Because we've been training at home for a while now since COVID, and you've
Yep.
been amazingly gracious, both you and Lou, to train regularly at home. But you've accumulated quite a kit, right? We got a good
I
selection
have
of
all kinds of
toys,
toys up here. Yes.
full home gym. So now what do you do with that 25-pound dumbbell?
I do
So what do you do laps
squats.
with
I
it?
do squats
Yes.
until I get my heart rate up and I'm like, going to drop this and ruin the floor. Or I'll do a deadlift kind of thing, just
Mhm.
it's using my legs and bending over and getting up and not, if I feel myself getting my back getting a little tight, then I'll go, okay, that's enough for today. But I won't, if I walk by them, like a lot of times I'm back and forth, up and down, you know how I'm all over the place. If I walk by and I see something laying there, I'll go, oh, before you go downstairs, why don't you try doing 25? And I do.
Yes. Are you still going up and down the steps with the dumbbell too?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
one?
I go down because it's like, to me, my steps are Stairmasters. I don't have to go buy one of those things. I go up and down the steps. I have a railing to hold on to, and I try to, keep my posture up with my head, top of my head pointing to straight up, and I try to breathe. And when my heart starts getting a little fluttery or it starts, beating a little fast, I go, okay, you've done enough now. But once you get them downstairs, you got to get them back up. So
What goes down must come up. I couldn't
that's
agree
right.
more. That go get 'em attitude is something that you have described having for quite a while. I mean, some of the stories you've told me about your work experience or previous marriage or kids, you have always had this. When do you remember, like, your first memory of thinking, this is challenging, but I'm going to do this?
I would say my first marriage. But also,
Fair.
but I was determined to make things work to my advantage or to make it work for everybody else, family wise and so forth. I would say that if I were challenged, it was from experiences, I would have to say, in my youth. Like the time I wasn't too good with geometry. So we had a very nice man who was our teacher, and everyone took a test, and I struggled. I had to, try a little harder than some, especially in the math department. And when he said to the entire class, even Beth got it. So what's wrong with you guys? I went from being a normal sized person to something about that big sitting in a chair. And I'm like, I just wanted to crawl out of there. And I'm like, oh, that wasn't a compliment. I'm sure he meant it that way. And then another time at work when I was interviewing at the place I work, you had 60 days to try to get a job within the organization. And so they would give you different ones that were looking for people to fill in the ranks. And this gentleman who had a little Clark Gable mustache, we were interviewing and it was going along well until he said something to me. And I said, how soon will you, let me know? And I said, because I only have 2 weeks to go. And he said, what do you mean? And I said, well, I'm going to be laid off. And he goes, oh, you're one of those. And I went from a full-size woman sitting in a chair to something maybe 6 inches tall sitting in a chair. So it was those little put downs and those little, I don't like to say people are mean-spirited, but they are.
Yeah,
So
some people are.
what you have to do is go, well, you're better than that. So it's like, you can't do that to me and I'll show you what I can do. And that's what I do. It makes me want to fight back.
That's what it sounds like. You know, that
I'm glad
you
I'm not a man, because if I had testosterone all through me, I'd probably punch somebody out.
I think we're all lucky that you're not.
You don't want to challenge me. That's all I have to say. And you don't want to be mean-spirited, because I can get mean-spirited back.
Don't push the nice people, right?
Right. And it's like, take the higher road. Be happy with your circumstances, and instead of wishing or wanting something that you don't have, be gratified what you do have, and just do the best you can with what you got.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Which is like a life mantra for you, isn't it?
Oh yeah. It's like, I know I'm getting older. I'm like, what am I going to be like when I get to 80? Will I live to 104? Will I be
Yes.
able to pick up that $100 bill off the floor? If there's one there. Yeah. And it's just like, now I have grandchildren, and some of them are older and have, moved on towards more adult life, have their friends, but we're still good friends. And I played with them a lot and sang to them and did all kinds of fun things with them, went to the beach with them. And then the great grandchildren came along, and I like, oh, I get to do this all over again, but I'm not as young as I used to be. So I just try to hold on to as much mental, physical strength that I have, and emotional strength too. So I
Yes.
just try to do my best. And if it's not good enough, oh well, move on.
Didn't you play football with the kids 2 Thanksgivings ago?
2 Thanksgivings ago, I was all dressed up in Thanksgiving clothes with a little black ballerina shoes, nothing like sneakers. And come on, let's get out there and play. And my grandson, who is now just going into the service, touched me like a tackle kind of thing, and my legs wouldn't go fast enough with the speed that I was running. You know how you're just going too fast. I knew I was going down, so all I did was tuck and roll, because I didn't want to hurt myself. And I did. I tucked and I rolled.
And bounced right back up.
And then I got up and looked at me and said, "You're not supposed to tackle your grandmother."
All's fair in love and war and football.
Oh,
huh?
yeah. But it was fun, and I enjoyed it. And I didn't get to do it this anything like that this Thanksgiving or any of these holidays because of COVID, but we'll get through that eventually.
Yes.
I have a 22-pound turkey in the freezer waiting to get cooked.
If you ever need any help eating things like that, I'm happy to help you.
Well, right now, I used to buy 20 to 25-pound turkeys, and I would put them in the oven and I'd get them out relatively easy. Now it's like, I need some help here. I got the turkey in, but I can't get it out. And so I will look for someone who will help me get that thing out of the oven.
For somebody that does everything for everybody else, you're welcome to ask for help. You know that.
Oh, yeah, I do. But it's your pride too. And you got to swallow your pride sometimes. You just got to realize that circumstances have come into your life where you just can't do things the way you'd like to. And instead of saying, try to like fake it till you make it or whatever, you just say, can I have some help here? Help me understand, or help me do this chore. So,
you know, we've talked about that several times on this podcast, actually, about how important it is to let go of that ego a little bit at any age, in any circumstance, and be willing to ask for help.
Oh yeah, you've got to. I mean, really, because if you ask for the help and you fall flat on your face, or you drop the pot of spaghetti on the floor,
right?
You're like totally embarrassed. Like, I should have asked for help, So you don't want to, if you need it, you ask. Because if you don't ask, there are people out there that would be, well, she doesn't need any help, so I'll just keep moving on. I hope she doesn't ask me, because I really don't want to help with the dishes.
Nobody
I
likes
just want
doing
to sit here and
dishes.
watch the football game and drink beer.
We got to find a section of the population that really likes doing dishes, like some of those type A personalities, because nobody likes doing dishes. What is that?
I don't know. I was taught by my aunt and my grandmother, before dishwashers, you had a tub of hot water with soap in it. And then you had a tub of hot water that you rinsed in. And then you had off to that a rack that you put everything in to dry. So I was taught a lot of stuff the old-fashioned way. And I know I can go back to that because, I mean, if you don't have all the help you have now, like I like hanging clothes on the line. I like being outdoors. I like the freshness. I just don't like the pollen. So you
Fair.
just do it. And a lot of times I'll go back to the old-fashioned way because I don't feel like running 2 loads of dishes and pots and pans because the dishwasher is only so big.
Yeah.
So what I'll do a lot of times is wash the dishes in the pots and pans, and by that time they're pretty clean, and then I have to rinse them and put them away.
Yeah. It's funny that you said old-fashioned. I've found that most of those things that we term old-fashioned are just more manual and better. They're just not as convenient, right? There's less electronics involved, but they're time tested and proven methods
I still use one of those things you turn, a timer, the old-fashioned timer, you twist in your hand. The numbers have worn off, but I know it's 10 minutes and I know it's 20 minutes and I know it's 45 just by looking at a clock. But I won't go over to the oven and go, let me see now. All of a sudden you just turn it on and you're done. You got your timer. You don't have to fiddle with electronics.
Yeah. Oh, I've been a big believer of that with fitness, that keeping things simple. And it's one of the reasons I wanted you to tell that football story, because we've always focused on your strength, your balance, and then your functional capacity
you're
too.
Fall, tuck and roll.
Well, I didn't teach you to fall. I'm impressed.
I didn't teach me to fall either. That's the first time I ever played touch football.
I think you might have a future in it. It sounds like you came out of it unscathed, and the kids didn't mind playing.
No, they loved it. I was a hero. Just like when I went skydiving, I walked on water. My grandsons took the picture and took it to bed with them.
That's amazing. How old were you when you went skydiving?
No, I don't know. Let's see. I probably was in my 50, 55 age group there.
Would you do it again?
I woke up one morning. It was beautiful September day, 10 type day. And I called up North Smithfield Airport and I asked if I could come up. And they said, well, yeah, we got an opening, in an hour and a half. Can you get here in an hour and a half? And I said, yep. And then the only thing that I got really nervous about was when they wanted me to jump out. And I had my hand on this pipe that was up by the plane. And the guy kept hitting my arm saying, let go, let go. And I finally let go, and then we tumbled out. And it was fun. It was fun.
Would you do it again?
Yeah. Too much money now. I can't afford that. I'd rather save the money for other things. But knowing I did it and experienced it, I know I can do it again. And the next year, I took a flight lesson at the Groton Airport. And we went out to Newport, and we came back. And coming back, the sun was in my eyes, and I know now why they have those glare-proof sunglasses, because I couldn't see.
Yeah. I can't imagine what that's like.
They got me up in the air, and I got to turn and do all kinds of things in the air, and I got to turn the plane to head back home, but they wouldn't let me land it, which was fine with me.
There's probably rules about that.
Yeah.
But
I did try things. It's not like I'm an adventurous and I'm going to go out there and, walk a wire rope or something, but I am going to try things within what I feel is my capabilities. But I do want to have safety devices around, just like the railing. You get a little dizzy, grab that railing going up or down the stairs. So.
Absolutely. So you have grandchildren, children, and great-grandchildren.
Yeah.
What kind of advice do you give them now? Or if you could speak to them now as a whole?
All right. It would be the same thing I would tell myself as a younger person. Don't be afraid. It's okay to fail. It may take several failures before you get it right, but just don't be afraid, and don't be afraid to fail. And believe in yourself, and you'll get through it. You're going to stumble. You're going to evolve as you go along. And the person you were at 17 and 18 isn't the person you're going to be when you're 38. 20 years later, you're going to go through several changes through your life. You're going to mature. You're going to think differently. And at least for some of them, some people just don't be afraid. I would have to say, try it. What do you got to lose? And if you really like it, and the more you do it, the better you get at something. So that's what I would tell my younger self. Because of the way I was raised, you had a certain role to play, and you didn't step outside that role. And I was a little more sheltered growing up. And now when I see what hard work and failure and accomplishment, the person I am today is not the person I was. I evolved along the way. Each decade I've changed. And I did go to counseling a couple times. And the first time I went to counseling, the counselor said to me, "You're a very strong woman, but you just don't know it." So from that, I took that as a clue to, get going, girl.
What a gift.
That was the best thing she could ever say to me.
That was a gift. Wow. What did you think when she said that to you?
I was like, really? Me? And then I went back into my life and took a look at different things that hurt me and some things that made me feel great. And it was all part of a process of growing up. And I forgive all those people that hurt me because I don't need that extra baggage. So, you just move on, and just like a lot of things, you just move on and do the best you can. And it will get better if you let it.
Yeah. So why do you think people choose to hold on to all that pain?
Oh, maybe they're insecure. They don't have the belief in themselves. They don't, maybe the trust isn't there, and they're afraid to fail. They want to, when you choose one thing, say you choose something, I'll pick a number. If you choose number 1, you're not choosing number 2, but maybe you should consider number 2. Do you know? I mean, there's a choice there. I didn't want to use colors, and I didn't want to use any other thing that might be politically incorrect.
This is a completely uncensored and no requirements here. That's the beauty. I appreciate the effort, though.
I do have to say, though, that as an older person, I appreciate everything. My health, my friends. I know that tomorrow is promised to no one. So I like to live in the present with an eyeball on the future, and I don't want to live in the past. I mean, I've learned from the past, but let it go. Yeah. Now you're at this point in your life, and do what the best you can with what you got.
Ain't that the truth? I mean, at least that's the goal, right? Is to be able to let go of all that stuff that has happened to us in our past and let
It's hard, and it's hard to forgive too, because some people, maybe unknowingly or on purpose, have caused some damage, and you can't hang on to that and let it fester inside you, because you don't get to move on. So you have to pick the better of the two choices, which is, see, I have a little devil on my left shoulder, and I have a little angel on my right shoulder, and I have to turn to my left and tell the devil, "You shut up, leave me alone."
But the devil wants to have fun too, doesn't she?
Well, it's like, within reason. Some fun gets you in a lot of trouble.
Fair. I try to teach people that you are neither the devil or the angel. You are the observer of the two.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good way to look at it, because I don't argue with my angel, because I know I'm going in the right direction. Or we won't call her an angel. We'll just call her my friend, and we'll call the left shoulder, "You're not my friend." She's not my friend right now. It's really sore.
Still cranky today?
Yeah, it is. So I took ibuprofen. It'll go away in about a half an hour, and I'll get my range of motion back. But the thing is, when I do work out and it's really sore, like an hour later, you just put a cold compress on it and take some of that inflammation away.
Yeah.
You're in charge. You are in charge, so you got to do something.
And not just bitch, right?
Right.
Don't just
The
bitch.
only time I would really be embarrassed if people heard me when I'm in my car, I'm not singing, I'm cursing.
You must be driving around the same time I am driving around.
Yeah, I'm not singing a song. I'm singing something different, but it's not a song.
Sometimes it's best to just let it out. Let that person.
Then you get out of the car and you put a smile on your face and you're a happy girl again.
Just keep going. I would love to have a sticker that I could project out and attach to people's cars.
Yeah.
That says like, I'm a bad driver, or I'm an asshole driver, or something like that. The guy that doesn't stop at stop signs all the way through town, or the guy that blows through all the red lights.
Student driver.
Yeah.
Or like on the ski slope, student skier, because you're going to be flopping around a lot while you're learning.
Yeah, but nobody's going to willingly do that. We need to label these people.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have a term I've come up with, because sometimes I don't want to say something bad in front of my grandchildren. They're like, I come up with shaboom boom. Shaboom boom. What is that? Well, it can be an adjective for a noun, or an adverb for a verb, or a dangling participle, or some other kind of English something. Well, whatever you're thinking, don't let it out. Just go shaboom boom. Get on my way, shaboom boom. Well, that's a bad shaboom. And because now that it's become a habit, they're looking at me like, oh, what's wrong with her? I just don't want to come out with my colorful language. That's all.
That's very respectful of you.
I only do it because of my grandchildren. One of my grandchildren, he was four, I think he is. And he came out with this expletive. I'm like, what did you just say? And he looked like, oh, I just did something bad. And I said,
he knew.
That's not the proper way to talk about anybody. So what do you think about not saying that anymore and say something else in place of it? I said, or just don't say anything at all. And he says, okay, Mima. And it was over with. It wasn't like he was punished or chastised. It's like, that's not really a nice thing to say. So.
What do you think about self-speak?
Self-speak?
Like the
Talking
conversation.
Yeah.
So about monitoring it in that sense.
Well, yeah, you got to do that. Because you can get all wound up in that negative self-speak, and then before you know it, you've put yourself in a bad mood. And then when you get to the checkout, you're snapping at the girl's head. So it's or the person that bumped into you and hit your Achilles heel with their carriage. You don't say, oh, thank you. You just go, oh, sorry. You're okay. Everyone's okay. We okay? I just don't want to go that way.
Yeah.
When I start feeling a lot of negative things or saying a lot of negative things, I just say to myself, all right, stop it. You're heading down the wrong road, just stop it.
What works for you to download? Like when you feel like there's too much going on, you're stressed out, you're feeling emotions that you don't want to, or you don't feel centered. What works for you?
The beach.
Yeah.
The waves roll in, the waves roll out. And it's like, you just sit there and think about whatever it is. And you let the beach wash it away. Just wash away. One time I took a rock. I was sitting in the sand, feeling sorry for myself about something, I don't know. And I just took a rock and I talked to the rock, and all the problems that I had at the time. And I dug a hole, buried the rock, and walked away. That rock is still there if it hasn't got washed away.
I love it.
You just have to put a closure to something. And a lot of people can't do that. They just hang on to their anger and or whatever negative feeling, sadness. I mean, some people can't help it. They have their emotional issues, but that's usually not a situational thing. It's more of an internal thing or a chemical imbalance or something. There's happy pills for that. So,
There are.
but if it's just a situational thing, that's one thing I've learned. It's a situation. If it's making you depressed or angry or anything like that, and it's going to go away. It may take a week, it may take a year, but it will go away. And things change, and you change with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You read a book a couple of years ago that really helped you not come up with, but formulate some of the thought processes that you have about your aging process and about staying healthy.
Oh,
You remember the
there's a couple of them.
aging in place was one of the main.
Oh, right, right.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. I think I kept it because I like to keep books that inspire me to reread them. And so I have a little bookshelf of my self-help books kind of thing. But aging in place is, well, it's dealing with your circumstances at that present time, whatever you're going through. And they talk about getting out and exercising and doing the mental exercising along with the physical exercising. And I liked it because it was about a woman that talked about old Fred, her husband. And she said, I just can't live like this anymore. They stayed married and all that, but she got out, she got exercising. The author just made several cracks about old Fred through the book, but eventually he turned it around and it was aging in place mainly for men. So I just laughed here and there through it. And it kind of inspired me to do something about it because I'm the only one that can do something.
Absolutely.
No one's going to take me by the hand and say, let me show you how to do it right. And it may not be what works for you.
Yeah.
So forgive, move on. Don't hold on to your anger. Just exercise it away. I mean, if you're a guy and you got a punching bag, punch the hell out of it if that makes you feel better. But you're not punching somebody else, verbally or physically. So once you expend that energy from anger, you're too tired to carry on with negativity.
I think that's a big piece that a lot of people are forgetting about. COVID kind of changed a lot of that for a lot of people as far as having to stay at home or be kind of separated from what they used to do for that physical activity.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. It's one of the reasons I'm proud of you guys because you have found a way.
But you shouldn't feel helpless. I mean, this is imposed upon you. So now instead of being in a outdoors or a big house, I mean, now you feel like you're confined to 2 rooms and you're just going nuts. So I use my stairs as a stairmaster. I do, I walk up 2 steps at a time, holding on to the railing. I do modified push-ups. I don't know. Just anything. When I'm in the kitchen and I have that kind of galley type thing, I put a towel up on the bench and I throw my foot up there and I do my stretching. Or I get on the floor and do that crossover with a leg and my spine just pops. And I'm like, oh, I don't have to pay to have this done now.
It's amazing, isn't it? What you're capable of doing if you just put your mind to it, really.
Oh, yeah. I mean, not only forgiving others, you have to forgive yourself. You're not perfect. So if you've made mistakes in the past and you learn from them, forgive yourself. You've got to forgive yourself too.
That's a tough pill.
It is because growing
pill.
up, I can't think of, I don't even want to think about it. All the cringeworthy things that come into your mind, ooh, I said that, I did that. And it happened at maybe a weak moment or something. It's over. You did it. You can't go back and change it. Say, I'm sorry, forgive yourself, move on. So it's easy. It's easy once you learn how to do that. You're in control, not somebody else.
How do you teach that to people?
You
Because
don't.
a lot of people discredit that. They don't think they have control over their own mind.
You can read about it in all kinds of self-help books. You can go to counseling, but after you've read the book and after you've done your counseling and all that, you're back to living with yourself. So the best thing you can do is be a better self than what you were. At least try, and if something's dragging you down, well, what are you doing? What's dragging you down? If you can't forgive yourself, how do you expect other people to do that? If you don't love yourself, how do you expect other people to do that?
Yeah, exactly. Holy mackerel. I ask because for me, it's been one of the challenges that I've faced. Obviously, because like you said, none of us are perfect. And I've certainly had things that I wish I had done differently in my past. And have learned from those experiences and processes. But I find myself in those moments, or you get back to it quickly. Like if you just, something sparks it and you get it into your head. But saying,
it's like when I get back or something reminds me of something. It could be a song, it could be a movie, a scene or something, or it could be another person saying something. You're like, oh God. And then you go, wait a minute, I can't do anything about that. I can apologize. I can forgive myself for being so dumb or stupid or whatever, just not caring. And then you go, and so now you've learned from that. So take that lesson and bring it into where you are right now.
yeah, those are really good words of advice. They're harder to swallow, but they're very good words of advice.
But you can give advice, but nobody has to take it. If someone was chewing on my ear all the time, what I should do and what I shouldn't do, and you got to be this and you got to be that, it's like, it just goes into one monotone, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, you have to do something about it. If you want to be angry, then go right ahead and be angry. Yeah. But it's got to end sooner or later. And you don't want it to end with death, because then you didn't get to make things right.
Yeah. Yeah. And now you have that chance now, right? Every day.
Every day. I mean, there are some times when there are certain people you just want to, let's see. You want to say drop dead. But then after you're over your little snit, you bring them back to life again. So
yeah.
There's just things you do. It's like walk away, get out of the room, take a ride in the car. Guys go fishing, guys go hunting, go shooting. I mean, take it away. And then when you come back, you've got it out of your system, and it's over. And now you're back to where you should be. Hopefully.
Yeah. And stronger, right? Isn't that the point?
Yeah, it does make you strong, but it's hard to go through that. I can't tell anyone. It's like someone trying to give up smoking or drinking or whatever bad habits they have. Everything in moderation, but if you have a certain amount of control over, I'm in a happy place right now, but if you don't want to go any further than that. Yeah. So that means you're dependent on something instead of depending on yourself. If you're depending on drugs, if you're depending on alcohol, you're depending on whatever gets you over, like back in control, or so like you think you're in control, then you're using a crutch. You're using excuses. I mean, so sooner or later you got to face yourself in the mirror and go, so what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
But that's me. I've evolved into that kind of a person. And if sometimes I seem cold or disinterested, it's like, you got to figure it out for yourself.
Yeah.
I'll give you all the support you need, but I'm not going to enable you.
That's a gift right there. That's a gift right there.
Because I can enable anything to death, from my plants to my animals to my kids. I can just do. I would love to be Auntie Mame and just pay for everything, but nobody did that for me. But I learned that there are certain values in life that you should you should
Yeah.
embrace.
Yes.
And if you have it given to you, you don't appreciate it until you lose it. And then you're going, I don't know what to do about this. You have to figure it out for yourself. And by experiencing the more unkind or less things that happen to you that hurt you or injured you physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever, you've got to get back to somehow letting that go and be in control of how you want to feel. And if you want to feel happy and you want to feel not burdened by all of this for years and years and years, it's like you've got to move on. And you can do it. It's just hard in the beginning. It really is.
Yeah. Well, that's the same thing as anything else that we embark on, isn't it? Like if you're talking about 30,000 steps one day, that's a lot of steps.
It is.
That's a lot of
Is,
steps.
I guess I got a little competitive bone in my body somewhere because if you challenge me and they're younger people, you know, we're going to see who gets the many steps by the end of the week. Well, I will try to beat you. And, the best I can, or come in second or third, you know, but not at the end of the line. And when they come in at 8 o'clock at night or 5 o'clock, whenever they're done for the day, I'm like, okay, you only got about 5 more 1,000 steps and you can beat them. Get the sneakers on and go for a walk. And it's not going to take more than half an hour, 45 minutes. By then it's 9 o'clock and then they're in jammies and ready to go to bed. And I just come in from beating them.
Which ends up being a win-win.
Yes, it does.
Win-win.
This old lady has just beat the 30-something big time.
Yeah, exactly. It's
it makes me feel good, and I don't care how they feel.
that's what I mean. Well, it's not that you're doing that without regard for them, but it's a competition, and you got the benefit of the movement, plus you get the win. Right.
And even if I was like, if this person on the other side said, I'm going to beat her. Well, sooner or later, they got to go to sleep. And as long as it's before 12 o'clock, I will still go out there. My husband thinks I'm nuts. But if it's 10 o'clock at night and that person has finally gone to bed, then that's when I put my sneakers on and I get out there and start walking. And it's over 2,000 steps, I beat you. And then it's the old lady that beat you, not your peer.
Right. You're a testament, Beth. You're a testament.
You have to have fun as you go along because I'm sliding downhill. I'm trying to put the brakes on, but you have to enjoy it. And how much longer do I have? I don't know. And I don't want to dwell on it. So I'm just going to take every day and be as happy as I can. And if I'm grumpy, I try to find something that makes me not grumpy. It could be just listening to music, you know, putting on rock and roll or the oldies and goldies there and just listening to music and bopping around in my car as I drive to Pawtucket and back or something. It's just out there and I feel better. I just feel better. So if it makes you feel better to go downstairs and punch your punching bag or get on your treadmill or just expend that energy that comes from the negative side, then you're too tired or you're just, okay, that's done. I'm ready to do something different now.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to end it, actually.
Okay.
From somebody who knows it better. Get out there and do it.
Do something.
Spend that energy.
You don't have to be an athlete. You don't have to be somebody that is competing. You can compete with yourself. When I go golfing, I don't care if I win or lose. I'm just out there swinging this club and walking around on a beautifully manicured piece of green grass. So I don't want to go out there and beat you. I don't want to be number one. I just want to go out there and enjoy myself.
Yeah.
And I do get a little upset when I really do some really stupid flubs, but it's like it comes back. It comes back.
And there's always another hole in front of you, right?
Oh, yeah.
You got another hole to play.
Just got another hole to play. That's right.
That's it. Just do the best you can with what you got and keep going.
Well, this wasn't as hard as I thought it would be.
Do it with a smile, right, Beth?
That's right. Do it with a smile.
See, and that's exactly right. Just like this, you just had a wonderful conversation with somebody who respects and loves you very much, and really
I love you
appreciate the
too.
time today.
And I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad that you and Kirsten are.
Thank
Really.
you. We look up to those like yourself that give us guidance in who we should be in this world, and
You should be your
how
best.
to be
Be your best
how to be
person.
better people. Yeah, how
Yeah.
to be better people. So
And
that's
the
it for
only way
today,
to-
folks.
The only
Go
way
ahead.
to do is by experience and learning.
Yeah, and enjoy the journey.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
Well, that's it, folks. If you have any questions relating to your health and fitness or anything else, just reach out. thrivetrainingteam.com. That's it for today. This is me and Beth.
And have a good day.
Yes.
Have a good life.
Yes. I love it. Have a great day, folks.
Okay.
Bye
Bye-bye.
now. Bye, Beth.
Bye-bye.
For more information, tips, and workouts of the day, check out thrivetrainingteam.com.